Hi, everybody. Thank you for listening into the Goodness Village podcast. My name is Hunter Van Dam, and I have the distinct honor of getting to sit down with Carrie Varoquiers of Workday. Carrie is the Chief Philanthropy Officer. She leads the company's philanthropic grant-making and impact partnerships. So, Carrie, thank you for joining the Goodness Village podcast.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Zooming way out, what is Workday? What is the Workday Foundation? And what's your day-to-day inside of Workday?
Yeah, so Workday is a software company. We make best-in-class applications for finance, HR, and more, most of which is powered by AI. And we really help businesses solve their greatest challenges and accelerate their impact. I lead the Workday Foundation and our social impact partnerships, as you mentioned. And at Workday, giving back is really built into our DNA. Our co-founders, Dave Duffield and Anil Bousri, knew that they wanted to build a company that cared for the communities in which we do business and beyond. And they set up the Workday Foundation right after the IPO. And now our co-founder, Anil, along with our CEO, Carl Eschenbach, both serve on our foundation's board of directors. And our primary focus for foundation giving is on workforce development. So bringing people from unemployment or low-wage work into thriving wage careers within 6 to 12 months. And we fund this work globally, wherever we have 100 or more Workday employees. And the reason that we try and align our giving in areas with offices is because we really want to develop partnerships with our nonprofit grantees that go beyond the check. We want to help them solve problems that really stand in the way of achieving their goals through connections, amplification, donated time, and strategic expertise.
You know, Workday has such a profound impact on this community, and it's just really incredible to see the big company down the road is just, over in Pleasanton, and, they support little Goodness Village. So thank you for the support over the last several years and ongoing. It's just the impact that you guys are making in the village is hands-on and intentional and immediate. So it goes a long way. So right off the bat.
We love partnering with you.
You guys are awesome. So how did you first hear about Goodness Village?
Yeah. So I first heard about Goodness Village from a former workmate named David Reedy. And that's, he was really good. We call workmates, Workday employees workmates. Mm-hmm. And he was really good friends with a fellow named Pete Sweetnam. And I believe that Pete was good friends with a Goodness Village board member. Pete was doing some fundraising at the time on behalf of Goodness Village, and he asked David for an introduction to the Workday Foundation. And the rest, as they say, is history.
I did not know that was the connection. I know Pete really well. He served on our board of directors for a number of years. And Pete is, like Workday, all about community and support, where the company that he runs actually has hired Goodness Village neighbors. So I love that. His mindset is just clearly supporting hands-on with the neighbors that we have over here. So very cool. So like you mentioned, Workday is a large company with a huge influence all around the world. You mentioned this a little bit already, but Workday is right down the street over in Pleasanton. Why is it important to support locally?
Yeah, so we do grant globally, but it is important to be a good neighbor in our headquarters area. And when I first visited Goodness Village, just to answer your question, why choose to support a small nonprofit like Goodness Village? When I first visited Goodness Village and met Kim, I knew that it was going to be a massive success, like even before the first neighbor moved in. At that time, as you probably remember, it was really just a bunch of dirt and a few tiny homes without any water connections yet or any residents.
Oh, yes. I remember those days.
Yeah. But anyone who has met Kim knows that she is just such an unstoppable force. And that was evident within 5 minutes of meeting her. Mm-hmm. And the vision that she laid out and the respect that she showed for the people moving into the community that she was envisioning, the way that she talked about them, it was clear that Goodness Village was being built from and with love, lots and lots of love. And the number of our Tri-Valley neighbors experiencing homelessness was growing. And here was this project that had the buy-in of neighboring businesses and residents and elected officials. And, those hurdles are nearly impossible to overcome in most other areas. And yet here was this tiny home community that was greenlit and under development and at a tiny fraction of the cost that anyone would ever expect. And we knew that if we came on early as a corporate supporter with a really solid business reputation, that it could potentially help to attract additional funds. So it was important to us for that reason as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, Kim is, I agree, an unstoppable force. I mean, all over the place, but especially in California, the homelessness crisis is everywhere. And there are a lot of incredible programs out there. But there was a space for Goodness Village to exist and to thrive in that really focus on developing the community aspect of it. We have the tiny houses, we have local support. That's a big part of it, of course. The tiny house is the cool, flashy thing. But that's just getting people, invested and involved. So much of our program, no, all of our program has nothing to do with the tiny houses. It's the wraparound care,
Totally.
It's the vocational support, it's all the training. But getting the awareness out there with any organization, the awareness was the first hurdle. So having Workday be one of our earliest, supporters and sponsors has made a world of difference just getting the name out throughout the Tri-Valley.
That's awesome to hear. I really encourage anybody that is interested in being a part of the energetic, positive light force that you have created over there. Contact Kim and Goodness Village and the team and go see it for yourself because it really is pretty magical.
Oh yeah, the website's great. What we do on socials is great. How we communicate, the podcast is great. But there's just something different about physically being here and getting to meet Kim and see the property and understand the program hands-on. And
I agree.
Anybody that wants to come on a tour of Goodness Village are more than welcome to. We don't have any limits, just as long as you're interested and have an open mind to what the program's all about. Reach out to us.
I love that. Yes, do it.
Love that. So think about impact and what we're doing in this community. We were established 3-4 years ago. We're fresh off the press, right? Organization like Workday and your impact with Workday and your career. What advice would you give to a small nonprofit like us?
I think that honestly, it's keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you and Kim and the team have done an amazing job of making Goodness Village feel open and integrated into the larger Tri-Valley community, which means that many of our workmates and area neighbors have had the chance to visit, to help out where needed, to meet the residents. And all of those positive interactions mean that when it comes time to expand, you all are going to have built-in supporters ready to back your plans and to get more tiny homes built and to welcome new neighbors. So I really think that you have created a blueprint that's replicable and that is very admirable. And I hope that many more communities really learn from what you guys have built and replicate it in their own communities as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We have had a number of fantastic conversations with other cities and nonprofits in the state that are just so interested in what we do and how they can bring it to their own community. And we don't have a copyright on tiny house permanent affordable housing for unhoused folks. So anyone can get the ball rolling. And if we're the inspiration, I am honored to say that Goodness Village has had an influence beyond the property that we have right now.
Yeah. And I mean, we really view ourselves as your neighbor. Our employees live here, they work here, they send their kids to school here, they do their shopping here, they volunteer here. So we really want to be an active and positive force in this area. And we bring plenty of employment opportunities to the area, sure. But we also want to be sure that we're supporting things that make this area so attractive to our workmates and to future Workday employees. And really to give our employees a sense of pride about the company that they work for. We believe that a thriving headquarters community is good for our employees and good for our business. So I encourage anybody from companies that are listening in to get involved, to go visit. It's been such a positive experience for Workday, the company, and for our individual employees and their families. So go down and make this a part of your social impact program wherever you work.
Fantastic. The more the merrier over at the Village. Obviously,
Yes.
we grow with neighbors, but also visitors. People want to get involved, volunteers, different companies. We're open to it all. Awesome, Carrie. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me recording on the Goodness Village podcast. I do have one last question for you, though. Think about community and what the Tri-Valley means. Breaking away from all the fun interviewee questions. If you had an out-of-town friend visiting for the weekend, where in the Tri-Valley would you take them?
Well, I am a total nature nut, so it would definitely be something outside, probably the East Shore Loop to Lake Del Valle. It's beautiful. It's moderate. It's just short enough to allow time for some wine tasting afterward at some of the area's world famous vineyards. So that's what I would do.
That is a great recommendation. I think I'm going to do that this weekend. Thank you, Carrie.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you again, everybody listening to the Goodness Village podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Goodness Village podcast. Production and recording was done by the Village's operations team and in collaboration with Crosswinds Church. Music was created by Club 88 member AJ Parr. If you want to know more about Club 88, this podcast, or Goodness Village, please visit our website at gvlivermore.org. Thanks again for listening to The Good Pod.